said bench, Green, DeMarco Murray. I just don't see anybody except for Hawkins. Maybe he's got some young up and
some upside.
Talent,
I think Lance Moore was a nice sleeper.
For a third wide receiver,
he'll be injured in a couple of weeks, and that team, he's got Eddie Royal marinating on the bench, waiting to get another turn. Yeah. I think he's given him about 12 fantasy points on the year. I think Randy Moss is still in his lineup too.
No doubt, this is a game for Leicester Williams where he knows he should win it and he should take it going away. No problem.
Could be a trap game for the lunch. I've got him winning though on my board.
Well, he's got some work to do on the waiver wire as well. And hey, here's a little good game going on right here between the Rollers at 1-3 against Sasquatch at 2-2. Rollers, I think they've had a rough go of it. They got a lot of points against them. This is a team that probably deserves a little more respect than they're getting.
No, I don't think so. I think the Rollers are down this year. I think they rolled the dice on these receivers, and they're going to win some games with them. But until they shore up that running attack, Sasquatch has got Matt Forte back. Jimmy Graham is really yet to explode. He's been consistent, but that team has some horses on it to do some damage. I think the RB2 situation with Donald Brown isn't good. But if you can scrape 12, 13 points out of him, I think he runs away with this one by 20.
Well, here's a bit of irony there. We're not sure what the bye weeks are, but as Sasquatch, as Matt Forte comes back for Sasquatch, that will ultimately help out Brandon Marshall getting down the field for the Rollers and making some big catches there. Rollers need to be able to get lucky each week with their matchups. I mean, one week, Calvin Johnson's up against a shutdown corner.
Yeah. His
stats take a hit, and that's just not what you want to see. And our final matchup of the weekend, who do we say was going to win? I think that
Romney Horse and
Rollers. Yeah, Romney Horse at 3-1 against Redonkulous. This is a good little matchup because Redonkulous is ranked pretty high, and obviously Romney Horse is probably the first best team in this league, going up against Redonkulous, who is by all means maybe carrying some of that snake juice from last year.
This is East meets West weekend with the Rollers and Sasquatch getting together, and then Romney and Redonkulous getting into this little fist fight. I like this Redonkulous team. I think the Romney Horse has to figure out how they're going to approach this rushing attack, and until they do, they're going to find themselves on the other end of this one. They fall to 3-2. The West rising up. Sasquatch winning, the Warriors winning, and the Redonkulous team.
Well, Bud, I know you're from the West, so you're a little partisan. Me, I'm an Eastern guy myself, and I love those teams in the East, the black and blue division. I got to say that the Romney Horse is a real legit team. Top to bottom, with those running backs, which will come around, and they'll probably come around this week. And Ben Roethlisberger, who I think is the sleeper quarterback of the year, who's going to put up Romney Horse. He's got the special juju. He puts Ben Roethlisberger in off the waiver wire, puts up 32 points. Last week, he puts in Andy Dalton, puts up 23 points. This Romney Horse management team is, I spoke with the manager, he's intelligent, he's witty, he's bright, and he knows how to motivate his players to win big games. And that's just what this is, a big game.
Well, they could find themselves at 4-1, and unless the Warriors lose, I think again we'll find them right below that #1 team, nipping at the heels.
No doubt.
It's going to be an interesting week.
It is. It's a couple of side questions for you, Bud. Let's talk about trades. When will we see a trade go down in this league? I mean, I saw some people throwing up players after the first week or two.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your usual players out there. Mason Keat-Colby, the Warriors are always looking around. The Rollers, I think the Goods have a couple of players they put on the blocks. Redonkulous is always an interested party and hearing offers. I think it's still a little early. I think we're still trying to gauge what these teams are about, and you want to build value in your player before you trade them.
Sure.
So if you've got a player that's played well for 3 of the 4 weeks, then you might have some chip there that you could use if maybe you don't think he'll produce down the road as well. It's the old sell high, sell low.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you on that?
Any player out there, any Fantastico out there who needs to make a trade, more so than another? Like,
Yeah, I think a
moves?
team, when you look at the bottom half of these rankings, you've got a team like the Rollers who are carrying those 3 receivers when they have no running back help. And without that core running back, those receivers are going to be hit and miss. I think he's got to move one of those guys and bring in another running back. I think the same holds for the Sasquatch. I think he's got enough wide receiver depth that he can part with one of those receivers, maybe package it with a Donald Brown and bring in a better talent for somebody that's of need.
I think the point is that even if you are have a tough under 500 record, if one of these managers puts their nose to the grindstone and makes something happen, they could get right back into the chase pretty quickly. Another thing, chat board's been a little bit quiet, but there was some snarkiness that went on earlier between the, I think it was the Goods and the Romney horse.
Yeah, I think the Goods took issue with some of the wording that the Romney horse was using to describe the Goods. I think the word dick was involved.
No. I spoke with the manager, and I did have a chance to look at the transcripts, and I believe the Goods took offense to being told that their team sucks by the manager of Romney Horse.
That's what it was.
And let me, come on, this is fantasy football. If you can't say that your opponent's team sucks, then I do politically correct as much as the next guy, but that seems to be a little bit over the top.
Well, I think at that time, when it was said, the Goods team really did suck. It was a real.
But maybe the Goods aren't so bad. Maybe they're
again. Lest we forget, the Goods made it to the final last year to the Peaceful Warriors.
Really, unbelievable.
I mean, obviously, the Peaceful Warriors lost their quarterback in the first play, and they still beat the Goods. So there's probably a bitterness there that's carried over, and he's maybe a little testy on the message board.
Okay. Well, but I mean, a great couple of first few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you more about this.
It's great to be back with the Fantasy News guys, and we'll be covering this league all season. And it's good to be back on camera, isn't it?
It sure is, bud.
Good to see you, bud.
All right, everybody, keep on fantasying out there.
So long.
We should have held that pose. That